this is Arunava Chaudhuri and you are on my YouTube channel, Arunfoot. The Technical Committee of the All India Football Federation had a virtual meeting on Wednesday, July the 23rd, to figure out who would be the candidates that they would put forward to the Executive Committee of the AIFF. 170 applications were received, as I've reported in the last few days. I've also told you who would be my two favorites in Steven Constantine and Antonio Lopez Habas. And in the meeting of the Technical Committee, which was also attended by Subrat Opal as Director of National Teams, as well as Technical Director of the Federation side, Shabir Pasha, as well as the two advisors of the AIFF President, Amanda Colasso and Bimal Ghosh, it was decided to name and suggest three names to the Executive Committee. And those are Khalid Jamil, Steven Constantine and Štefan Tarkovič. That Khalid and Steven could be amongst those put into the shortlist does not come that much of a surprise, but that Tarkovic makes it, to me at least, and I think a lot of people who observe and watch Indian football, it does come as a surprise. And let's talk about Štefan Tarkovič first. Someone who's born in Slovakia, in Prešov. I say, interestingly, in Prešov because that's the sister city of my hometown of Remscheid in Slovakia. And someone who's played in Prešov and then also worked in Prešov, worked after that in the national team setup with youth teams, women and men, and then worked in the Slovak League before going on to coach the Slovakian national team. Biggest highlight, played under him in the UEFA Euro 2020, played of course in 2021, and the victory against Poland of course is the one thing that people will remember. Thereafter he joined Kyrgyzstan or Kyrgyz Republic and qualified them for the AFC Asian Cup 2027 and the final round of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, or rather the third round of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers in Asia. Good pedigree, likes to play 4-2-3-1 from an organized defense. Steven Constantine on the other side, one of my top picks. Why? Simply because Steven has coached the Indian national team twice in his long coaching career. Steven has given us results over the years. If you look at his two stints, especially, I will remember the 2019 AFC Asian Cup, that 4-1 victory against Thailand, one of the best experiences I had. And even to add on top of that is the first 30 minutes against the UAE. And of course, then we lose against Bahrain. Steven resigns at the press conference, and that ended his spell 6.5 years ago. But we need immediate results. So therefore, if Steven is interested, if Steven can be brought in, is within the AIFF budget, I would take him. And the third candidate is an Indian candidate, Khalid Jamil. Khalid has done very well last season in the Indian Super League, taken Jamshedpur into the playoffs, something which I think very few to nobody would have thought that he could do, because Jamshedpur has been spending less and less since the days that they won the ISL under Owen Coyle. And has shown over the years, be it with Jamshedpur FC, be it especially with Mumbai FC in the I-League days, that he can create a strong defensive unit that can slug it out. He did win the I-League with Aizawl FC, that historic I-League victory in Shillong. And he's also coached the Kolkata Giants, East Bengal Mohun Bagan, Bangalore United, other teams as well. It's always been an up and down. And I know if a lot of people who, when they hear Khalid Jamil, potentially national team coach, they'll be very, very worried potentially about that. Because the success of Khalid Jamil will be linked to certain players. And if he doesn't have the players to play his defensive system, he has his problems. From that perspective, I do think Steven is more pragmatic, and we'll have to wait and see. And supposedly there were certain people in the technical committee as well as other people part of that meeting who favored Steven Constantine, others favored Khalid Jamil. Tarkovic seems to be a dark horse. And it will be interesting to see how the AIFF now decides amongst these three candidates. The decision has to be fast. The decision has also not been made if to offer the coach a short or a little longer contract. For me, as I've said in the last few days, it is very, very clear that if I was looking to appoint a coach, I would look at someone until March 2026. At the end of the AFC Asian Cup 2027 final round qualifiers, we can decide, do we make it to Saudi Arabia in 2027 or don't we? And accordingly, we can move forward. The AIFF has cut it down to 3. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of speculations. Oh, you know what? They've decided on this coach. They've decided on that coach. It will be very interesting to see what final decision the federation takes. What is your take on the final 3 candidates of the All India Football Federation? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, like, share and subscribe Arunfoot here on YouTube. Visit my other social medias. Visit arunfoot.com. And I'll be back very soon. So now Chaudhuri signing off. Bye for now.